Hi photo showers. Today I am going to quickly walk you through the two different methods you can use to enter a model in a class on OMHPS. I'm going to directly follow the instructions for the Boot Camp 2026 show. So first off, make sure that you are logged in and you have already followed the instructions for how to upload your horse to the site. Once you have your horse on the site, there are two different ways you can enter it in a class. For method A, you enter it from the show page. So to go to the show page, you can click the tile for the show and then find the class that you want your horse to enter in. So in this case, I am going to enter an OF breed example. It is going to be a thoroughbred, so I'm going to look for the sports section. And then it is going to be a thoroughbred stallion. So I'm going to look for the thoroughbred male class and then go ahead and click enter. And this is going to show all of my horses that I have that are potentially eligible for this class. So if I know in specific which horse I want to enter, then I can search for its name in here, or I can wait for the list to load all of them. So in this case, the horse that I was thinking I wanted to enter is this one right here. His name is By Divine Right. So his button is right here, and I'm just going to click enter and then confirm that everything looks good here and click the enter button. Now let's say that I searched for him and he didn't show up. If he didn't, then what I can do is hit the show ineligible checkbox, and this will show all of my horses that are not eligible for the class and why. So I only have two horses that have the word divine in the name. The second one is a medallion, so it is clearly showing me that he is not the right breed and he's not the right item type because he's a medallion, and he's not the right classification because he's a medallion, and he's not the right manufacturer because he's a medallion, and he's not the right run type because he's a medallion. So that will show you what is potentially wrong with your entry that is stopping you from entering it in the class. So let's look at one that is also a thoroughbred. So this is a thoroughbred mare. Now this class is for thoroughbred or standard bred males. So you can see here that it says this horse does not have the required gender for this class. So I know that I'm trying to enter her in the wrong class. But for this example, I'm going to go ahead and enter my horse that is named By Divine Right. Go ahead and click enter. And then we're going to give it a little bit of time to enter the horse in the class. And while it's doing that, I'm going to show you this handy button up here, which is this toggle class information. That will expand all of this info so you can see what the horse needs to have entered in its information. So it needs to either have original finished rubber or original finished plastic. It can have any of the materials for this show, but it must be either Collecta or Breyer. And then it can only be a standard bred, a thoroughbred, or an Australian standard bred. It can be any scale. It can be any number made, but it can only be certain run types. So this show does not allow you to show in halter classes volunteer models or oaks or prize models or raffle models. And then it has to be one of these genders. So he met all of that criteria, so he was perfectly eligible and I have entered him. So to double check that he was entered correctly, I'm going to click back on the class name and scroll down until I find him in the class. So he is right here. So I know that he's been entered correctly. So now I am going to retract his entry, which removes him from the class. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you how to enter him using method B. So this is from your My Models page. So at the top, you can click on My Models and then All Models, and then search for the horse you want to enter. So here are my two horses with Divine in the name. This is the one I want to enter. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom and hit this See Classes button. So this is important. It is going to search for classes from the first show on the list alphabetically. that is probably not the one you want. So I'm going to make sure that I click the Breyer Boot Camp show, and then I'm going to let it load, and I'm going to make sure that I click this magnifying glass icon again, just to make sure that it is looking at the correct show. Okay, so here we go. These are the classes that it is showing that this horse is eligible for. So you have to look at these classes and choose which one is correct, because just because they show up here does not necessarily mean that they are all the right class for this horse. So for example, this is for sport foals, but this horse is an adult. He's not a foal. So that's not the right class for him. And then this class is a collectability class for horses that have blue ribbons or chalky or pearly. So he's not any of those things. So that's not the class I want. This class is for thoroughbred and standardbred males. So this is the correct class that I would like him to enter. I'm going to go ahead and click the enter button and hit enter here. And then he will be entered. So now he's entered in that class. If I want to confirm that he's entered correctly in that class, I can do the same thing as before. I can click the class name and then scroll until I find him. Or I can go back, I can click his name and go back to his page and scroll down, and underneath entries, it will show an entry in the bootcamp show in the class that I selected. So that is how you enter your horse in a class using either method A or method B.